phone system is fairly recent. It's a Samsung 7200. It has capabilities far beyond what you're using it for. You could migrate that phone system from using analog circuits on what they call a PRI, which is 15-year-old technology, to a session-initiated protocol, which is an internet protocol. Better quality, flexible. You can add lines as you want. You don't have to add them in blocks, etc. There's a whole, we call it a SIP conversion process that would save you some money there. So I mean, I think you can be net within the budget. You can increase the services to where you'd have better quality phone system, internet would work within the county and within the same budget that you're currently spending. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to have to increase the budget. The monies you save on phone, you can reinvest in increased bandwidth. The fiber is 2 blocks away, so for businesses who are interested in that fiber, it was installed in August. We didn't start really talking to you guys. I know that John Bemis and Jason came down a number of months ago. Jason works in the residential side, I don't. We can, over time, share with you what we would do on the residential side. I don't have visibility into that. But on the business side, I worked for 3 years in Denver. On the business side, I can tell you that if you're within a mile of that fiber access point, we will build services to you at a very competitive rate, and we don't require a design decision by the community. This can be done on a one-off basis. So there's no reason not to have a competitive environment. Any questions from me?
Just have a question, and kind of evaluating all this stuff. I worked with David years ago and think very, very highly of his expertise and recommendations. So my only concern is that there's a perception that when there wasn't competition, CenturyLink just kind of said, well, it's good enough for Townsend, and now with the prospect of competition, we want to ensure that whether it's a private business that wants to move in, or the county, or a business that's here that wants to expand, that you know that this what you're offering isn't going to go away in 2 days when if Blackfoot decides to go with other waters. And that's just kind of general. That's a discussion in the community.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm not going to make excuses for why CenturyLink builds where they build. You know, it's a business like any other. And yes, a lot of money goes back to Monroe, Louisiana, to Wall Street, and back to our shareholders. We developed competitive services, and it came to a tipping point where someone said either it makes financial sense, it makes strategic sense, whatever, and that's just the business decision. So the fact that we invested the money to bring fiber in, and we have multiple strands, means that there is now a platform for a competitive environment. If West wants to pick up a circuit and increase the bandwidth on whatever their service is here, they can do that from us. We have interoperable agreements with all the vendors. So a couple other things on our contract. Our contract is laborious. It's about 21 pages, but it does have detailed information about what is cancellation, termination for cause, what are service levels agreements, what what payment penalties there are, etc. All that stuff is in there. So, any other questions?
Have you at all looked at the hospital? Jenny, I don't know if you guys have had any conversations, but is this something that, could you help the hospital with their needs?
So Jenny and I have met, I think, twice. First, something that Brian set up. I have given them some general idea of what we can do. Part of the issue was the legal status of the hospital as to whether they were part of the county or whether they were separate. And Jenny sent me some information.
We're not available to have the same pricing the courthouse gets.
Because
so we're still commercial based.
Could you include in your explanation what the state term contract is, what it means, and what it means for private business versus a county government?
I'll do that as soon as she finishes. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten down to the point where there's been any.
We have to, so the first thing was, could they buy out the state contract? And if there was a way to do that, it would be cheaper for the hospital. And I I don't know if you guys can come up with a method where services are contracted through the county. Obviously, the county has got some relationship with the hospital. I was reading that you guys have to approve, or you have one of the board members is named by the county, it's on county property. I don't know, if there was a way to do that, then obviously that would make a big difference. The pricing that I came up with, I generally said, look, we can do it for X dollars, but I have told, I passed the hospital inside CenturyLink is considered a commercial account, so I don't run it. I have given instructions to the person who does run the account as to what to bid. I have demonstrated hosted VoIP service to Jenny, so she can see that they don't need to buy a new phone system. They basically can buy a data circuit, bring hosted VoIP in, and then even discuss a little bit about Wi-Fi systems. So we could definitely move forward with that, but I was trying to find out what we could do in terms of pricing. Has Kuczynski, I think his name is, has he called you back?
Risk is not sounding, John has trouble reading, call my cell phone, please call my cell phone. And then it keeps calling the
I will
hospital, which
take
is
his-
hard to get a hold of me at the
Okay,
hospital.
I will take as an
So-
action item to make sure that you get
Yeah.
the answer.
And I did before I come over here, look real quick to see, and he had sent me an email that I didn't see, that I didn't respond to.
Okay,
saying
so-
I can't.
The answer is, there has been engagement. Frankly, I was hoping to be able to take it to a full bid, but within CenturyLink, they stovepipe government and commercial. So,
And Corey, you were just saying something, is this something where, since it is a county hospital, is there an opportunity here?
I would wonder if, while the customer itself is a nonprofit, the building and facility is county owned, I wonder if there's a way that the facility
Probably
is the
the only
customer.
way is if it went through the hospital district.
Right,
and
so the hospital district's a
started
county
paying those
entity.
bills, and it was part of a lease agreement or
Yeah.
something like that.
Is the hospital a special district?
There is a
mandated.
special district that they lease it to the nonprofit.
So special districts are considered government, so that would be, I'd be able to take care of it, first of all. Second, special districts do qualify for, under the same agreement you guys signed for state. So if you could say that that was just as much part of the facility as the brick and mortar, and I don't know, if there's an HVAC issue, do you replace the furnace, or do you replace the furnace? I mean, how does that work?
District does.
County.
The district does.
So the district, if the district is already set a precedent for facilities, you could consider this facility.
They'd have to pass the agreement to have to start paying bills. And then they have to start running a.
It looks like there's a mechanism, and that would be phenomenal, because, again, the price point, the commercial price point is high, and largely because in any new built area, CenturyLink tries to recoup some of its construction costs.
But the hospital district board would be willing to consider that very strongly.
Vic's on the district board, just to.
I figured that out.
Could I make a suggestion? So I have to leave to a meeting that's been scheduled for a long, long time, and I'll be back. But would it, I know you're saying today you guys have to know, would you be willing to work with me? I could do notes on recommendations on contract and discuss this over the next couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get something, if you just want clarification in the agreement, and you can make some suggestions to the language, I could send you, Word doc you can mark up
Okay.
and just do a red line. I mean, as long as it's just clarification that you're looking for, I'm sure my legal counsel would be happy to accept that.
Okay.
I could even have you have a quick conference call with him, so you could tell him what you're looking for, and he could address it.
So my suggestion would be if we do a couple of things. One, I'll work with these guys on what I think is needed in a contract to protect the county.
Why would you do that before they make a business
Well,
decision?
what I'm asking is, are you able to provide a proposal to the county as
I
well?
can do that, I don't know that the contract language is meaningful to the decision process. They're probably very similar.
But what I'm,
I'd suggest
I
the
guess what I'm
commissioners make a
saying
decision
is-
based on price and service and
But we
then,
haven't.
I'm just saying that when they make the decision to go with Blackfoot, that I'm more than happy to address his concerns, with our legal.
I agree, I just think it's a waste of effort to go through negotiating contract language prior to a business decision.
but what
Usually
I'm
those
saying
contracts
is, what I'm saying is that if these guys wanna say yes or no on whether your contract or their contract, I want it to be a contract that I'm comfortable with,
follow. I agree,
so.
I can send you a contract.
And then so I just had a trial settle that frees me up a little bit, so I can work on this over the next couple of days. If, is next Monday too late to come back and revisit this, or what are your thoughts, commissioners?
I think we should make a decision today for Blackfoot.
I mean, I would like to see a decision made today, either for or against, and then I'm happy to work out, clarification to the language with my legal counsel, and I'll put you in contact with him.
Well, some of it isn't just straight clarification. I mean, there's some things in here that I would tell any client, don't sign that contract. So that's what I'm saying is, I think we need to have that discussion. Because it may be a point where you guys say, no, we're not willing to change,
It's true.
whatever it may be.
Yep.
So,
It
And
is a standard MSA, it is relatively universal. We have worked it out over, thousands of clients. It's probably it's probably slightly more likely to get modified or clarified than, let's say, a major corporations agreement, which is even less likely to get changed, to better clarify what your concerns are, but I would say the safe bet is that there would be no changes to it.
well, if there's no changes, then I would say this isn't a contract you want to sign. Any agreement, I understand that's the standard agreement.
Mhm.
There's no such thing as a standard agreement. You can reach an agreement to modify language if the parties are willing. So I would like to have that conversation before telling the commissioners.
I'm
Can we have a-
negotiating a contract for 8 weeks with Montana State University, and it's a $2,000 contract, so we negotiate all the time.
Go ahead, Mike.
As far as these contracts go, I learned a little bit about these things. You pass them around and that looks good. You don't really look at them, but, we got bit this year, the city did, to the point where there's a contract out there that if the tower was to fall down, one of the companies with wire on our tower can charge us to find them another spot while we rebuild our tower.
I want to be clear, this was a contract that was before I was city attorney.
It was, before, okay, I'll jump on the bus too, but before I was mayor.
Pre-Cory and pre-Mike.
But I mean, I looked at that thing and I said, oh my Lord. And Cory looked at it, he said, did you read that? I go, yeah. He says, oh. And it's all there. So just take a look at it. I'm not saying either one of these are that way. I'm just saying that we had one and it's never gonna happen again.
The other option would be that we could have a 4-vote contingent on your satisfaction with the agreement.
One of the issues that I think we need to put on the table is, why the rush? There's been a lot of talk from both companies about competition. We want more competition. And what's really got us to a point of finally getting broadband is competition, plain and simple. For that, thank you very much. I'm one of those that's also been angry at CenturyLink for not having done something 5-10 years ago. But that doesn't mean that you haven't already done something, so we need to set aside our emotions and look at what's best for the community. So we sent you a letter on June 15th with...
And I apologize, I do have to leave. I'll be
Okay.
back and I'll connect with you at my 12:15 meeting on this.
Okay,
I
thanks.
apologize.
We sent you a letter in June. We said, what the issues were. The point-to-point was ridiculous. That was awful for our community, because we'd be sitting here again in a year trying to figure out, now we're stuck in this 5-year contract for point-to-point that just isn't working. You guys came back with something that's doable and workable, yes. But it took you 105 days to even respond to us, And part of that was, and you guys better make a decision by yesterday. Then you graciously on Friday gave us till today. That's only 12 days. What's the rush? We need broadband, there's no question about it. And the thing is we have broadband now that's here. It's getting better and there's still work that you need to do. What we have from CenturyLink is a proposal that says you're gonna have it solid in 60 days. We have a proposal from Blackfoot that says we're gonna get you an answer by January 1st, and if we say yes, then you'll have it hopefully by the end of the second quarter, so July 1st. Okay, so there's a rush there, 60 days versus 8 months. There's also the issue that we have to look at of these penalties with Clearfly and CenturyLink. We're looking at potentially 20 grand in penalties to break these contracts as of July 1. The costs under the current are what we're paying now and have been, that's the same as last year. The CenturyLink doesn't include any of the phone savings, but it does include the increase in cost to the 100 megabytes. It's an increase of about $325 a month. The Blackfoot proposal is per your new contract, which is higher than the April contract, and that's an increase of $650 a month. If we're just gonna look at dollars and cents, we need a lot more than, you guys better sign a contract today or else. We need more competition. I would like to see CenturyLink continue what you're doing and open up a fiber on the roof of this building, and I'd like to see Blackfoot plug into the roof of this building for your services, and I'd like to have both of you. An exclusive contract with just one of you, I'm not comfortable with for the community until we get the contract nailed down. For us to vote on a contract and not know what's in it, I'm not comfortable with that either, especially with Corey saying I don't recommend it at this point. And the dollars and cents. This is an expensive proposal for us. It's an expensive proposal for our residents. We need something now. We need something at least within 60 days. But I would like to wait a week at least to have some time to get some more solid information and for us to make a decision today without having the contract okayed with our county attorney is absolutely folly, in my opinion.
This has been going on for months. Blackfoot come, they had a meeting with on that phone conference and everything. It's been back and forth, back and forth. People have said how they wanted to support Blackfoot, they want Blackfoot here. CenturyLink did absolutely nothing all these years. From I talked to different businessmen. Oh, yeah, they're gonna do something. They never done anything. And a little while ago, you talked about your phone service. I'm in the Tost area, and your phone service is terrible. CenturyLink doesn't have any phone service as far as rural access to it, I should say. And I feel that Blackfoot is here for the proposal, that we should make the proposal either yes or no, so they know. We've been putting them on for all these months. So I would entertain it.
So I would ask the question, how much is Blackfoot, apart from him coming to meetings, how much have they invested?
I would
in this
know
community?
that we entertain a motion.
We've invested
One way or the
thousands of dollars engineering this opportunity. We've spent as much bandwidth as we can possibly spend. I want to address
We spent
Commissioner,
millions in the fiber
please don't interrupt me,
community,
sir.
so,
Please don't interrupt me. I would like to address your concerns that you brought up. What is the rush? So I can tell you that we have put this in front of you simply because we want to have an answer back to you by the end of the year. And you have had, like you said, 100 days to read our contract language and respond to it and to bring up concerns with our contract language. And I haven't heard a single objection about our contract language until now. And so, in fairness, you've had plenty of time to review the contract language. It's been in front of you this whole time. The last time that we came here, there were more concerns that were brought up. The second time we addressed those concerns, the second time we came back, there were additional concerns that were brought up. We've addressed those concerns in our letter and again here today. We can't keep addressing concerns and kicking the can down the road ad nauseum if we want to get this community turned up. And we want to get this community turned up as fast as possible, as do you. So we want to have that commitment to you by the end of the year. In order to do that, we need some time to work on the project. if we kick the can down the road another month, I can't commit to the end of the year for having a commitment back to you guys. 'Cause
Scott, I asked for a week, not a month.
Okay.
So let's keep the facts straight.
that sounds
I
fair.
want you guys to come to this community, bottom line. I am uncomfortable with a 5-year contract, and I was certainly uncomfortable with it with the point-to-point. So we just got this last week. We just got this on the 29th of September. And then we had a demand for a decision within 12 days. That was around our community festival, it was around a holiday. I would appreciate it if you would actually allow us the time to put the pieces in place to make a wise decision. Yeah, there were a lot of issues in April. 911 is still a question with me because we actually talked to you in June and said, you know, the phones are off the table because of our issues with 911. We have to protect 911. Phones are back in this contract. That's another thing that I want to nail down. So we gave you 105 days. We haven't had any communication from you in that time frame. Why can you not give us 7 days to nail down some of these questions? That's my request, not 30, just 7.
Right.
We just want to make sure the county attorney says this is a sound investment for the community and he supports it. And we need some more details from the phone companies. I want to hear from Connect and Clearfly that they can guarantee the 911 or something from you guys that says you're going to protect it. I see a lot of caps in the contract regarding the phones that you guys will take no responsibility if there's an outage. That worries me with 911. So I still have some questions, and they're important questions for a 5-year contract with absolutely no out clause.
Okay, well, I can tell you that if you guys would vote, and, with the condition that your legal is satisfied with the agreement, I think that would help move things along.
Why
and
are
we-
you so nervous about us waiting 7 days for a vote?
Well, I guess what
I
I'm,
mean, would I
here's
feel
my
like you're
concern,
putting
let me
us
share.
over a barrel?
No, let
and
me
a
share
gun
with
to
you.
our heads?
Let me share with you my
Yeah.
concern, okay? So, we're not a huge multi-billion-dollar company. We don't have resources ad nauseum. So, you've got one guy at Blackfoot who's really advocating for a community, okay? And this is a 200-person company. And so, and what the community is hearing back is that they're not sure if they want us there. They're not sure if they want us to come to Townsend. And so as a result of that, people have invested a lot of time so far, but they're kind of at the point where they're like, we need them to just say yes or no. We just need them to say yes or no. We want you to come to town or we don't want you to come to town. They've had lots of time to evaluate it. They've had lots of time to read our agreements and consider the offers and even shop our offer against other carriers and get them to bring more favorable offers to the table, which is great that we've been an impetus for that. But we're not here to be an impetus for that. We're here to service you. We're here to take care of your services and get paid by you to provide those services. So at the point where this is starting to just go on and on and on, we have to just call it. And I've been told that you need to go in there, you need to get a vote one way or the other, and we need to decide whether or not we're gonna put Townsend on the budget for 2018. And so it's not a matter of putting a gun to your head. We've been in good faith talking to you and working through details for 5 or 6 months.
Except you have to admit, we haven't heard from you the last 3.
Well, it's taken,
And to compare your contract with anyone else's, we just got it on the 29th.
okay, that was
So-
almost 2 weeks ago.
Well, no, you've given us 12 days counting today.
Okay.
So, did your bosses then say there's no way that you can let the commissioners have any time to work with their county attorney? Again, we have broadband, and it's already come in. The question is not leaving us in the dark ages that we've been in the last years.
No,
So,
and you've had
why
broadband.
can't we have another 7 days to get some details?
The question is, are we gonna support Blackfoot for their proposal? I think that's what we gotta do, we gotta have a decision ready, or a motion, if
Yeah.
we're gonna support them or if we're against them. So is there a motion to support Blackfoot in their proposal they have?
I'm gonna move that we do want Blackfoot to come to our community because the more competition is the better. But I would like to postpone our decision until next Monday so that we can have some more clear details on the numbers. One, the penalties, two, the amount per year additional of almost $8,000.
Mike, would you?
Well, I don't see any sense in moving it down the road. Our penalty is $20,000, that's a one-time cost. And Blackfoot says that they can reach from 8 to 17 miles outside of town, whereas CenturyLink is simply gonna serve the business district and the community. If we're just gonna serve the community, then we're not serving the county. And I think that I don't have a problem with a 5-year contract. It's not like these guys are a fly-by-night company. They're pretty well established. If they weren't established, T-Mobile wouldn't have signed with them, which I didn't even know, nobody knew about that until today. So I don't see any reason kicking this thing down the road any further. And as far as the time delay goes with Scott, I can fully understand exactly why this goes on, because when you build a house and you got a husband and wife that are arguing over what color the siding is, pretty soon it gets to the point where you wanna leave the house, because it's not doing you any good there. And that's where that's basically where it's at. I mean, you sent them a letter with our request for everything that we would want.
We sent them a letter, it was a commission letter.
That they pretty much answered in every way except for one thing. So, I would make a motion that we, with satisfactory legal review, that we sign the offer from Blackfoot.
Point of order, there is a motion on the floor. It needs to die before you can make another motion.
Okay.
There was no second for the other motion, so we'll go ahead with the motion out there now. Is there a second to Mike's motion? I will second it, then, to get this proposal for Blackfoot going. Any more discussion? No more discussion, we'll go to a vote. All in favor of the motion as stated?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
carried.
Um,
Okay.
And I
That's it.
do
We're-
want to make a point that I want to make sure is in the minutes, that I voted aye so that I have the ability to readdress this based on the legal review. I do want more competition, and exclusive contracts hurt competition. I hope that you guys will work with other WISPs. I know that hasn't been something in our community yet, but I would hope that you will. Because the price for residential that you guys are offering is high. It's way high. We also
We're getting
need
past our
to-
discussion.
No,
We're getting
Franklin.
out of line with our agenda. This part is taken
Franklin.
care of. The next agenda item is for search and rescue. If you want to close that off real quick, go ahead and say a few more words, otherwise this is over with.
I'm happy to say that we're, as I said earlier, interested in entertaining any kind of conversation with local WISP carriers for residential services. It's not off the table and would not be off the table for us.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all your time and everything.
Thank you.
Go ahead. One question.
I'd like to make it really quick. Thanks the commission for studying this and doing your due diligence on it. I think you've entered into a good agreement, and I think you've extracted a lot from Blackfoot that, so I think you've done a good job. Thank you.
And I second
Thank
that.
you.
Here, here.
I would like Laura to finish so I can put it in the minutes, I'm halfway through the sentence, so I need something to finish my minutes, what she was
Thank
saying.
What is it
I was addressing Scott, and what I want in the minutes is the request that we need more competition, not less. Less competition is what's hurt this community through the years. So I would like you to earnestly work with our WISPs so that there is residential options for our folks and better business options than what they currently have. Beyond that, we'll be trusting you to be good to our community, and I hope that'll happen.
And I'm sure you will, so, like I say, this item, we're through with this now. We're, search and rescue was standing here waiting, we're running way over on our agenda. So thank you again to Blackfoot and everybody that was here.
Thanks for all your time, Commissioners.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I guess we'll be back in touch with us.
yeah, I'm gonna get my legal counsel in contact with yours right away.
Yeah, yeah. Having worked with Corey there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're actually running a little way behind schedule here, but search and rescue.
There's pot, there's the rest of the blueprints.
Go ahead, you've got the floor.
Okay, you've seen this proposal across the desk before, and we've been approved for the grant money. It just has to get past this final step. An itemized list was requested to fulfill
Give me your
this.
name for the records.
Oh, this is Keith Simpson. I'm with Search and Rescue, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so an itemized list was requested and a couple other things just to finally get the money approved and pushed through. So plot plan hasn't changed much. This is just fixing some grading, and I have copies of the itemized expenses, basic materials, one for each of you.
Thank you.
And Mike, since you're in contracting, I'm sure you'll notice that it's probably a little overdone, but, oops. All right, John, so what do we got here? Oh, had a little issue with our printer this morning. Okay, so they printed landscape instead of portrait. Okay. We can just kind of go through these backwards, I guess. This would be the elevations. That really hasn't changed. Some additional plans are requested, so I have roof framing plan, and obviously for our construction set, they'll be printed landscape rather than portrait. So roof framing plan, then we'll have this has been separated out. I developed a foundation plan and revised some of the details, so this ledger connection addresses both scenarios for part of the building, which is framed to about here, and then the rest is masonry. So this addresses both conditions on that. Also, electrical and plumbing, we'll pull theirs off of here. We cannot pull permits. That has to be done by the electrician and by the plumber. I have already spoken with the city considering the sewer connection. Casey's Tire is going to donate their excavator for us to use. One of our members is an excavator operator, so he will be doing all that. We have plenty of members that are experiencing construction, are working construction, and they will help us frame and do all this. Lynn Zito is going to do our slab, and he's donating his time and his employees' time to do that. We changed to a monolithic slab, and this is run by an engineer. Everything's to code. Reinforcing steel, concrete, all that's to code. Our doweled-in connection from the slab to the existing foundation is the same system that is being used on the ledger connection into the masonry, just to save us some money. And that's pretty much it, so if you have any questions, not sure where else to go with this.
So then the search, or the the weed guys department, that's just gonna be
Okay,
a
so-
blank building?
So what's gonna happen is, we'll go to that. So, the weed mosquito guys, floor plan hasn't changed any at all. So the floor plan hasn't changed at all. But we're not gonna do their drywall for them,
Okay,
you know, we'll end up drywalling this entryway.
okay,
But as far as their stuff, they'll have a rough-in for their toilet.
okay,
They'll have roughed-in connections, which we're gonna be there, we might as well step out
Yeah,
their side as
yeah.
well. Aside from that, and the insulation and the drywall on our exterior wall, theirs
theirs is up to them.
is up to them.
Okay,
So this door won't be here, when it's built. This wall will be though. And we'll have, you know, the drywall here, the drywall here, just to isolate ours. But other than that, they'll have to come in and drywall the inside of this partition wall and drywall their ceiling. Well, actually, we'll end up drywalling their ceiling so we can insulate it. Mhm, Yep. But as far as light fixtures, switches, everything like that,
they'll have to finish.
They'll have to
And
finish it.
Is there gonna, are you gonna put a stub in there for a shower?
yes, that'll all be common in the drain right here.
Okay,
Yep. It'll just poke out and that'll
So-
be that.
I haven't seen this with the weed board. What's the
This
details
is the same one that
for?
we first submitted.
Right, so what's the details with the weed board? What are they paying for? What is the proposal to them?
No, they have not even contacted us about any of this, other than it was requested that we leave them a space so they could have a shower and a wash down sink to get the chemicals off of them. That's where that sits. So.
If they're not using it, it'll become a second bathroom or a storage room for
Or a
us.
storage room,
Okay.
exactly.
All right,
So it won't be wasted
so
space.
that's why you're not finishing it, because you don't know who or why you're gonna
Yes.
be using it.
And the
Yes.
trust
Okay.
board won't put the money up for finishing theirs, just because it doesn't consume the recreation. This is just the recreation side of this.
Okay, all right,
The nice thing to this, we'll actually be able to park our command trailer where we can walk around the thing, because right now we're trailer and front of truck are nose to both bay doors. So we have to climb over the trailer to go around. It'll speed up our response time so we can just go in, do what we have to do and leave. Also give us a little bit more space for storing some of our equipment, making it more organized, just a lot more user-friendly. The existing garage door is just gonna be moved out. So we're not spending any money on that. We're really just bare bones in this thing, just to get the minimums, so we can have a functional restroom and expansion on the door, so. This will be a armor door. We are gonna leave the security door in place, but this will be a security rated door on the exterior. Wayne was concerned about that, and we told him, well, we'll leave the one that's in place, and then provide a good door for the front. So the way I have it budgeted, we should be, with my 10% overage, we should still come in under budget due to price variances and everything. Most of my price quotes are from Home Depot, so chances are we go to RY, we'll get our lumber cheaper. We'll shop locally as much as we can.
I was gonna say, if you guys want to, you can run it through BMC and I'd give you, you can run it through my account, I'd give
Sure.
you my 5% discount, if that's legal.
I don't have a clue if it is or not, it sounds like a good idea to me, but I would run it by
If you
Cory
wanna do
just to be
that,
safe.
they deliver everything. and
That would be
everything out
great,
here,
you
so-
know, we can work out the logistics on that
Okay.
at a later date. But first thing I need to do is get, obviously, concrete poured before winter.
right.
It's kind of actually to our benefit that we have delayed this till the fall, because Lynn has been really busy all summer and a lot of other people have. So the people we're gonna rely on to help build this and donate stuff, they'll be more able to do so now that things are winding down due to winter coming.
Okay.
So, a couple of questions for you. I see your permit costs in here.
Yes,
Legally, I think we have to have these PE stamped. So JJ Connor did these, right?
no, I
No,
designed them.
you did them? Okay, do you have a
I
PE
do,
or do you
no, I
have
don't, but
a
I
volunteer
can, I
does?
can get them stamped, that's
Okay.
not a problem.
Okay, I think that's needed by the trust board, and two, I think it's law.
Yeah, it's a county building, yes it is.
Okay,
And that's our intention, is to, once we are approved, I can spend the money to get official construction set made. We can get, a PE to review and stamp. I've already got the structural slab reviewed, although my engineer that I use is in Colorado, and I don't know if his PE will transfer, so we're looking into that.
okay,
If not, my firm is based out of Helena, the firm I work for. I do engineering, been doing it for 18 years for the same company. I've got people there that are willing to stamp several of
Okay.
them. So that's not an issue for us.
no additional cost
No,
for that?
no,
Okay,
they'll donate it,
nice.
yes.
So, ADA, is the bathroom ADA compliant?
Yes,
Okay.
it is all planned out, all the size constraints are laid out for ADA. What we're not sure is if we're actually gonna add a partition wall, that's kind of up in the air. We might just do the grab bars on the side of the other wall. That's kind of something we're gonna discuss during one of our meetings, but it is ADA compliant.
Okay,
All the space requirements are there.
I think that's also law.
Yes, it has to be.
All right, and then my third question, and last question, you'll be happy, is the general contractor or the owner's agent. Will that be you, or how?
I will
how
be
have you guys-
representing us just because I've put this all together and I know it intimately. Ultimately, though, I don't think we're required to actually hire somebody to do that. We just have to make sure that things pass inspections.
You're required to have somebody. It doesn't have to be a hired general contractor, but you have to have a designated.
Then we put a name, just a name to the
Yeah.
work.
And
That'll
I'm
be
not
me.
sure it can be just a name, especially if you're not an employee. So that's something that, perhaps Win could be that position.
We could do
Or
that.
perhaps Mike with your contracting could be
Yeah.
that position. We got into that with the building project. We could have had an employee oversee, but I'm not sure about a volunteer.
Okay.
So if you guys haven't designated somebody,
We
that's
have
something
not
we
yet,
have to
but we could
get.
put Mike's name if he doesn't mind.
That's all right.
So we'll have to double check that with legal and just make
Yeah.
sure that we're
If not, we can
We're
put
doing
Wayne in
it right.
there.
right.
Either or.
Could you use me?
Possibly,
I mean, I just throwing it out there. If you
Right.
needed to, I would have to heavily rely on other people. But if you two fall short, I might be able to fill that gap, if I can.
the only reason I didn't think of you guys is because of your workload. I mean, you already have full-time plus work.
Oh, no, I'm not saying running it through maintenance, I'm just saying using that I'm an employee of Broadwater County.
And I don't think we can just plug in a name. I think there
Okay.
have to be certain requirements that that person meets. I would think you would, Mike,
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
yeah, we can definitely check on that. So it seems to me it was a pretty small deal before, it's a pretty small deal now.
Good.
So, yeah, I appreciate the work you guys have put into this. I can't think of any other legal pieces that need to be crossed or dotted. That looks good.
Great.
I'm not sure if you have to go back to the trust board, because they need to send us a letter that says, we approve the new plans for search and rescue. They have a meeting in
Nothing
November,
has changed,
except
except for actual how it's construction.
they didn't
so-
actually have all of their pieces marked off, which is required. So they'll need the presentation so
Okay,
that they
we can
can
do that
address
again.
all the,
We
yeah.
can, we can do that, simple.
Yeah, it was just
Do
an
that.
incomplete from the trust board, which is why we couldn't
Okay.
accept it. So it looks like you'll have everything complete along with that, just the applicant's agent question.
Okay.
Yeah, looks good.
So, Mike, will you follow up with the agent issue and let us know?
Yeah, I'll talk to
Okay.
Corey and see what we gotta do there.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Do you guys have any more questions?
No, just get your exterior work done as soon as you can.
Yes.
And you guys have done something, I didn't look at the plans, you didn't mention it, but I think it was in the previous application. You have something put in place for the fact that you're under grade right now, right?
That's all taken care of on the
That's,
plan view.
on this very first, let me just get these out of the way. That hasn't changed at all, the grading
Okay.
plan.
I thought I had
It's,
seen it in the
yeah,
previous
all we're
plan.
doing is just pushing dirt from one spot to another. I have spoken with the county. Any spoils that we might have, they have a file for us just to add into. So, we're not gonna be worried about, where we're putting the extra dirt that is hauled off. Cause things have settled a little bit, is really the biggest issue, so we have, sort of an issue with the water coming in our back door. But we'll cut and we'll grade back towards the edge of the alley and put in sort of a swale. And then that'll run along this property here. So really, everything will drain all the way from the building and back down to the drain manhole that's already down there. Yeah, there's a storm inlet there. It's really just pushing stuff around and getting it to drain the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, that's what we talked
Which will
about.
help these people next to us, our neighbors, because they have a little bit of an issue of stuff running off of us into theirs.
Oh,
That should
okay.
clear that up as well.
Good.
All right, looks like a good plan.
Great.
So can we get as far as approving the trust board money somehow so we can get this flying here? Or are
We
gonna-
just need a letter from the trust board, so yeah. I don't
When's their
know that-
meeting next? Do you know?
I think that they'll meet almost anytime you contact them, so they'll have a meeting.
And they have another meeting scheduled coming up here in just a week or two. I forget the date.
Otherwise, I'm sure
Debbie
Debbie
just
can do an
sent out
email letter to them too.
Yeah, we'll talk to Debbie and see if we can expedite that a little bit.
Yeah.
I can even email her those plans.
Yeah.
We already have them, so that she could even, not necessarily need hard copies, they could review
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
From their computers, so,
Nice work.
thank you.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, guys.
That's all the work you've been doing on that.
Yeah, it's taking us a bit of time. Anything else we need? I think we're all set. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thanks for the work you've
So
done.
as soon as we get you the letter, we're building?
Still running back behind. Okay, Nicole Brown.
I'm going to be brief because I think I was just here 2 weeks ago.
We need to get this set up, and maybe that's something we can talk about when you're done. I'm
Sure.
taking any of your time.
So just an update on what I'm doing. Working with a couple of different groups. Southwest Montana Mountain Bike Association, they're moving forward building trails off of Copper City. So they did a ribbon cutting ceremony, and that's all moving forward, which is good. BLM Resource Advisory Council, we are not meeting until the BLM is working on it's called Planning 2.0, and so they're working to amend that, and so until then, Resource Advisory Councils are kind of on hold. I'm anxious to get back meeting with those folks. I did receive a call from Brad with BLM in Butte. They are doing some work at the trailhead of Whitehorse, getting a little pushback from some neighbors out there regarding the road. So we're working through that, but they are doing some trail work out there for the trailhead. So that'll be fantastic once we can get that going, get something added to the map. Joint land use study, nothing new to report for you folks here. We're still moving forward and still meeting, but nothing new there. I'm still meeting with the statewide 911 subcommittee, and we're still strategizing and coming up with an RFP to do some work on that. What else? Construction in subdivision is still busy. I'm meeting with another developer this afternoon for another subdivision, so there's still a lot of work being done out there. I was going to pull up data for you of all of the new addresses for the year, but I'm going to wait until December because they're still coming in. I still have 2 of them on my desk right now to assign that just came in over the weekend. So people are still moving in and still moving forward. I think I told you at the last meeting, and so I apologize if I'm bringing this back up, but there is a large manufacturing facility that's moving in South Broadwater County. They're looking to create about 100 jobs right off the bat when they're done with their construction. So we're seeing a lot of activity right now in the Price Hills subdivision, the village at Elk Ridge. I suspect that we'll be seeing a whole lot more activity down there. Those lots are very reasonably priced. It's mostly been contractors building spec homes out there, and they're not slowing down. I mean, they're still constantly coming in weekly because they're building more homes down there. So I think that this new production facility will have a really huge impact on everything that's happening down there. And they've actually started, I was just down there this weekend, and they're roughing in their road, their entryways and everything, so they're really going to work quickly.
Is that the one behind Styrian?
Mhm.
All right.
Yep, yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a big,
Is that the one just this side that's got the road down in the dip?
Mhm.
Going back in the hills?
yeah, and so, they've, Julie Lethert and I met with those gentlemen, 2 months ago. And they have big plans, and they have a lot of sweat equity already into this project. They're all former engineers who decided they'd rather be doing something more fun with their lives. So, they have the smarts and the money to do it. So it'll be exciting. It'll be an exciting project to have down there. I attended the Montana Water Law Conference. Holy cow, that was intense, but really, really good. I have materials that I'll be able to share with anybody if you ever want to check them out. They're being mailed, so I don't actually have them yet, but
I like that you check them out. It's unfortunate we have to do it that way, but otherwise you might not get your resources back.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just keep track of where they're, because it was an expensive conference, they're expensive materials, but absolutely not going to do any good just sitting on my bookshelf if I'm not sharing that knowledge with everyone else that wants to look at it. So yes, definitely, they'll have to sign in blood, and then they can borrow them.
Give you a shoe.
Absolutely, right. What else? I think that's everything on my list. Oh, I thought we skated by with tax appeals, but we do have one tax appeal. We have a county tax appeal board hearing on Friday. If any of you are interested in sitting in on that, it's 10 a.m. It's all public. We're going to be in here, but if that's something you're interested in, we had a few more appeals, but they were able to be worked out by the Department of Revenue here with Jess and Ray. They do a really good job of sitting down and making FaceTime with the taxpayers and working out their concerns. So all the other ones they were able to resolve in-house, but this one we will have a hearing. So in any case, I think that's all. Yeah, I'm researching a grant. Val from the clerk of court's office contacted me, and they would like a grant for some type of security system on the 3rd floor. So I'm researching grant opportunities for that. So I'll just keep you posted if I find anything. Obviously, if there's any in-kind match that needs to be done, this will all be made public, and it'll be part of a discussion here at your table. Yeah, that's all. Just
Sounds good.
busy with new construction. I'm just surprised that the construction season is still going so strong. Our other business, we've been working 7 days a week just to keep up there, which has been fantastic. But man, yeah, it's been a great year.
Wow.
So, anything for me?
I don't believe so.
Have you gotten a copy of the resolution that we did with the budget?
I have not.
You should probably have a copy of that.
Okay, perfect.
This is something we need to talk about. We kind of need to structure these around budgeting, so.
Okay.
I'll just give you that till start until the commission.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and
addresses
I checked in with Debbie last week. When I saw this on the agenda, because it did say budget, and I didn't know if there was something I should be aware of, and she said nothing new. She said everyone is mostly on track this year, and so.
Yeah, so good job so far.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Doug Ellis.
Hi Doug.
Hello. I printed out a copy of my budget. Wasn't sure exactly what you guys were looking for, but we haven't, thank you, gotten too far into the year, so the first part's elections. Luckily, our municipal election for the city was all handled by acclamation, so we're not in the middle of an election. That's gonna save us some time and money. Some of the funds, like on the second page, is where more of the treasurer's funds start. The first page is pretty much elections, but second and third page and on, it tells you what percentage we're going. I figure we should have spent at the most about 25%. You might notice, like on the last page, contract services has us at 44% already spent. We have some big ones for DIS and for Tyler Technology that is the yearly fee we pay all at once, so. But don't expect any of my funds to go over budget. I think we're sitting pretty good on that. The one thing I'm not sure of yet is this month for our tax bills, we're getting ready to send out our tax bills, and instead of folding them and stapling them and doing everything that we've done in-house, there's a company that is gonna do that through Black Mountain, and they'll print all our tax bills and mail them and send them out. That'll all come out of contract services, so this is just kind of a test run to see how it's gonna work, and
Maybe a big labor saving for you, wouldn't it?
oh yeah, it takes me a complete day just to print the tax bills. Then you have to fold each one of them, and we have to put a piece of tape on each side so they'll go through the post office, and it's at least 3 or 4 days work where the entire office is just in turmoil, so that should calm things down a lot, and hopefully it'll be something we can afford to do from now on. But yeah, I don't see any big expenditures coming up or anything like that. We're pretty much status quo. We don't change a lot from year to year. That was the one big change. And I think I've got all of the mills entered in for the taxes. I've sent them to the state, and they've checked them over, and they match what they have. There's one little hiccup with OPI. Their amounts for the reports that I send to Department of Revenue don't match my amounts. So I don't know, sometimes in Department of Revenue, it's called a CCR report, and it's a mess to try and do. And sometimes there were a couple of months where I was working on the report, and I don't know if I hit send or what happened, but it sent the report. And I redid the report, printed it out, and everything looked fine, but that first initial part that I did went to the Department of Revenue, and I couldn't see where it was. So it was like they had 2 reports for 1 month, and we got that all straightened out, and I think that might be where our problem is I think maybe OPI saw both reports and counted them both instead of just counting the second one. But I'm working with Kathleen and OPI on that. We should get that hammered out
Sweet.
and be able to do tax bills on time with no problem, and make everybody in the county happy.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't see, we did make one change in our office. Our copy machine, we used to charge other offices 5 cents a page for copies. And there were a couple, we quit doing that when we got this new copier. And there was a couple of offices that had been a little excessive in the amount of copies they make. So we put codes back on there and we'll start sending a bill to each department for 5 cents a copy.